Rosemead area. West along the 10 freeway. In fact, you can see Rosemead Boulevard is coming up next. That is the vehicle that is in question. For some reason, we heard it might be a motorcycle at first, but it's actually this white Mustang. And we did see it traveling at a high rate of speed, very dangerous at times, going on a sidewalk. So officers, whether or not they pulled back or were just not able to keep up with the car. So right now, I'm going to pull back a little. You're going to see we don't see any units directly behind, but I can tell you I'm looking at 2 sheriff's helicopters. They are above right now. They're monitoring the sky, and so they're going to form officers below. I think the units on the freeway are actually trying to catch up, but we are keeping our eye on the sky. This is a pursuit here and originating out of West Covina, and now we're coming into Rosemead, west on the 10 freeway.
And Megan, I know this started with West Covina Police. Does it look like the CHP is joining in? I know a lot of times when it gets onto the highway for an extended period of time, the CHP will take over. And the CHP has a number of tools at their disposal. They can lay spike strips on the freeway. They can also pull a pit maneuver, but generally that's not something they would do on the freeway because the speeds are too great. So usually when it comes to a pit maneuver, they would actually wait for that vehicle to get off onto the side streets, and you have to get down to speeds, I think maybe 35 miles per hour, I forget, may be like the highest speed when they can attempt something like that. But there are dangerous conditions. You can't just drop spike strips on a freeway when you have other vehicles out there. So does it look like perhaps the CHP is trying to get out ahead of this vehicle right now, Megan?
Well, the vehicle is in front of the units right now. And again, these are images you're only seeing on Channel 4. News Chopper 4 is the only one over this right now. You see right there, that is one of the LA County Sheriff helicopters. They're following this. In the carpool lane, about a half a mile behind, are the West Covina units. Now, they can still handle this pursuit. They can be the primary agency following this pursuit. It is at their discretion whether or not they want to hand it off to the California Highway Patrol. But considering how dangerous this is right now, we're going to see what they're going to do. The problem is we're looking at the 4th of July. It's a holiday-like conditions on those freeways. Because of the little traffic on the freeway, that is allowing this person to drive at a very high rate of speed, which is in fact increasing the dangers of how dangerous this pursuit can get. We're entering into the San Gabriel area, coming up on Alhambra next. So this guy is just recklessly driving on the freeways. They're not going to be able to initiate any pit maneuver or any spike strips along the freeway here. It's just too dangerous. They can't predict his movement. He's going too fast right now, but it's when he exits the freeway if they can safely perform one of those maneuvers. But right now, it's just too dangerous to even predict where this guy's going.
Yeah, he's completely in and out of traffic there. And you were saying, Megan, that he was up on sidewalks perhaps earlier in this pursuit. It hasn't been going on that long. Again, the reports we're getting, the first call came out about 9:53. So here we are about, a half hour into this and going significantly high rates of speeds here. And you mentioned like 75 miles per hour. Does it still look like that's the case? I mean, the freeway is pretty wide open, and he seems to be going significantly faster than the other vehicles around him.
Yeah, look at him right now. We are doing about 112 miles per hour in News Chopper 4, and we're doing our best to keep up with them. So he's going pretty fast. Those cars, holiday-like conditions, everybody generally goes about 65, 70 miles per hour, and just look how fast he just goes past these vehicles. So this guy is picking up some tremendous speed on the freeways right now. We're coming up into, look at that quick evasive maneuver, coming up on the transition. I believe that is to the 710, the Long Beach Freeway. So now he's going to make that transition, I believe, to the 710. We're going to see where this leads him, or actually this may be the bus lanes. So something of that nature here coming into the East LA area. Let's see what this guy decides to do here. This is actually the connector to the 710. He's not opting for the 710, so it looks like he is going to be going on, is this the northbound 710? Still trying to get a glimpse of where he is going, but he's going pretty fast in that transition. We're near the Cal State LA campus. You could just see that to the lower left of your screen. Looks like he may be exiting the freeway. This actually might be Eastern Avenue off the 10 freeway. Now turning, well, what's he going to do? Now he's making a left turn. There's your first unit. That's a CHP unit following this guy. As we come across the freeway, there's the helicopter above. He decides going back onto the freeway. So he exited the freeway and then went right back on. Now we're going 10 westbound coming into the East LA area.
So he thought he could lose him there, went off around the 710. Oops. That's near the University of Cal State LA. Then back onto the 10. Here we are heading westbound once again. heading towards downtown Los Angeles. And we just got a note here that the CHP says it's monitoring the pursuit, but they've been asked to assist by West Covina police. However, Megan, as you were saying, you said the first patrol car behind that white Mustang was CHP, correct?
Yeah, that was a CHP unit. Right now I'm monitoring the CHP to see whether or not they're going to be picking up this pursuit. And I'm thinking most likely they will. We're far out of West Covina. It doesn't mean those units are going to, well, it just actually passed the CHP unit right there. But it doesn't mean West Covina is going to terminate this. They're just going to hand it off because the CHP is more familiar with this particular area. There's a sheriff's helicopter. They've got eyes on them. So this is a joint agency. We're coming up on the transition to the Golden State Freeway. So let's see if this guy's going to go onto the North 5 or the South 5, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is the connector there. So we have sheriffs following above in the helicopter. We have West Covina as well as the California Highway Patrol. So they're going to make sure this guy's not going to get away. Unfortunately, speeds are very high. We're coming up on an exit here now. Looks like he's taking this pretty fast here. Stopped cars. This is State Street off the freeway, making a dangerous left turn. Obviously ran a red light, crossing over the 10 freeway. Sometimes they go right back onto the freeway, but it looks like he's going to stay on surface streets, which means now he is coming into LAPD jurisdiction. So no doubt LAPD is probably going to come and assist with this pursuit as well.
And this is when it gets extremely dangerous. Once they get off the freeway, they get on those side streets and you start running stop signs and red lights. You have pedestrians. Here we are at an intersection. You kind of hold your breath every single time you go to an intersection like that because people can be crossing the street having no idea what's going on. And again, we know little about this man's motivation. Only one man supposedly behind the wheel of this white Mustang. The car failed to yield earlier today. And what was that? They looked like he went over a speed bump or something.
Right there. He got a little airborne there because this guy is traveling so fast on surface streets. He actually took an intersection so fast that his car hit a dip and actually went a little airborne. So here we go, coming up on an intersection there, just running that stop sign. He's going southbound now on a street here in the East LA area, and look how fast he is going.
Wow.
Just making a left turn in front of vehicles right now. This is a very dangerous pursuit. This guy needs to be stopped, but you know, protocol is, are we going to pull back? Are we going to let him hopefully somewhat slow down to minimize danger to anybody in the area, or whether or not we're just still going to stay on this guy? That's the 5 freeway that he is paralleling, and we just kind of lost vision of him here. We're going to pull up here and find out where he comes out of. But he's going so fast, even News Chopper 4 just lost vision. I lost vision of him, Mike.
And he was on the 10 westbound and then got off around the 710, got back, and it's now this man behind the wheel in that white Mustang failed to stop for an officer in West Covina. And then it ended up to where we are right now. We don't know what his motivation is. We don't know what he did wrong other than the fact that he wouldn't pull over for an officer. And Megan, I know we got kind of lost in the trees there and lost your signal for a second. Where are you right now?
Well, we're near Hollenbeck Park. He actually went underneath the freeway and stopped his vehicle. And now you can see even sheriff's helicopters, they're looking for him as well. So he must have stopped his vehicle, whether or not he is on foot right now. But he abruptly stopped his car, and that's why we didn't see him when he came out. So I'm listening right now. They're looking for him actively in the Hollenbeck Park here area. You can see sheriff's helicopter flying really low, trying to find him. So apparently now this is a foot bail. Vehicle stopped here adjacent to Hollenbeck Park. Here comes up one of the CHP units. Officers with his gun drawn right now. He may have that suspect in sight. I don't know if this is the person here walking or not. We're going to keep an eye right in this area. Person on the ground right there. There we go. They got the subject in custody. So that is the person who was driving erratically. And look at the tactic that he tried to use. He actually was traveling at such a high rate of speed, quickly stopped his car underneath the freeway, and he was hoping that officers would not see him, and it was a very good move. We lost him as well for a short time, but a great job by the CHP down below. They found the guy, put him in handcuffs right now. So fortunately, this pursuit is over and nobody was injured, and thankfully, because this guy was driving just quite erratically on surface streets and the freeways.